Hello and welcome once again to Career Tips, Success in a Virtual World, brought to you by the UMass Career Development Hub. My name is Cody Crawford, and today I wanted to give you a little tutorial on how to set up your profile and how to make it the best that it can be, so that way you're set up for success in your job and interview search within the Handshake platform. So after you sign in, if you're unfamiliar with signing in, please feel free to check out one of our other videos. But once you've signed in, you will actually go up into the top right-hand corner where there will be a little picture if you've already added one. But you're going to click that, and then you're going to click the button that says My Profile. Okay, so from here you'll get an overview of your profile, and so I want to just show you some of the features, some of the things that you should be considering. Now, the profile section is very similar to what you might find on a LinkedIn profile. So if you're familiar with LinkedIn and some of the concepts there and what you should be considering, you might find some things very familiar. So the first thing I want to point out is that your profile picture right up in here should be a professional picture, something that's clear quality, and something in professional dress, and something that has a background that isn't going to take away from your image. And after that, you can take a look at some of the baseline information here by clicking this little edit button. You have your name, your master's, this kind of stuff here, although you can edit it initially, so you can edit it initially, but this will be reset via Spire. So if you're trying to change that for some reason, I would highly recommend talking to an administrator through Spire and get that sorted out. You have a My Journey section. It's a great place to give potential employers just a general idea of kind of who you are, what you're passionate about, kind of your overall message, your succinct message of really what they'll be gaining from looking at the rest of the profile, but once again in a succinct way. So as you move down, one thing I wanted you to pay attention to is this little section right here. It says your profile is, and it'll say, any amount complete, any percentage, X amount complete. And that number will obviously be different for different people. But this will give you kind of a step-by-step process of ways in which you can improve or more fully complete your profile. So for instance, this has a little add organizations button. I haven't added any organizations here. And it'll bring you right down to that section. So you can work off of this, but also within the profile there are different sections that you can manually enter and edit. So up in the top right hand corner of any section you'll find this little edit button. You just click that button. So if I wanted to edit something in education, I can click the edit button, and that will allow me to do that. So you'll see that I have my master's degree, my work here at UMass, as well as my undergrad degree. Obviously, if you're still in undergrad, you won't really have multiple education pieces here. And as you move down, you'll see a work and volunteer experience. With this section, what you're really going to be working on is something similar to how you would present in a resume. So, in fact, it should be noted that the first time that you set up your profile, the system will give you an option to upload your resume and have that fill in a lot of your profile. This feature is quite useful as it saves you quite a bit of time in setting up your profile. It will auto-populate most of the fields. I will strongly suggest, however, to make sure that you take a look and edit or fix any sort of technical glitches that may arise. While this tool is useful, it is not perfect, and you could end up with different sentences and titles in the wrong section or wrong place. So once again, please make sure to edit after you use that feature. And very similar to a resume, you want to have some strong verbs, so implement, research, consults, develop, serve, provide, and these should just be small little pieces of the things that you're doing for each position. Obviously, you'll see when these positions were held. You have a section called Discover More Students. This will actually bring you over to the networking side of things. So you can click this little button, Discover Students Like You, across the Handshake network. I actually know all these students. They're all in the same program as me. I'm actually a grad student in the School of Education. You can see who's viewed your profile. So again, very similar to LinkedIn. So I noticed that Franciscan Children's and Insight Workforce have viewed my profile. So, you know, it may be a good idea to check on them later on and see what kind of company they are. See if that's something I'd be interested in pursuing or reaching out to. As you move down, there is a skills section here. This is a great example of how that resume feature works, the uploaded resume feature. So it actually took all these words here in this box and popped them in the skills section. Now some of these make sense and some of them don't. So for instance, logistics or marketing or training might be a good skill. However, American Red Cross is not a skill, that's actually an organization. You'll see it's kind of paired here with CPR. That's what it took from the resume upload feature. So you can go in and delete them, approve them, delete all, approve all. I doubt it will either be totally perfect or totally unuseful, so you might have to manually go in and check that. And as you move further down, you'll see a Documents section. So you can click this Manage Documents button. It'll actually bring you over to the Documents tab, which if you'd like to know more about, again, please see some of our other videos. You move further down, you have your personal information. All this stuff is locked via Spire. So once again, I would, if there's a problem there, or if there's an error, that might have to be addressed with Spire administrators. You'll notice in organization curriculars, definitely put in anything that you've been involved with, especially if you had some sort of position within that organization or extracurricular. You have coursework. I wouldn't put every single course that you've taken on this coursework. I would put anything that shows a unique side of you, or anything highly relevant. So, for instance, if I was a biology major, I think people can, it's fair to say they can assume that you've taken Biology 101. So I wouldn't add that. But if you took kind of a niche biology course that really shows this very specific subfield in which you are trying to work in, I would absolutely include that in your coursework. Projects are also a great place to show a little bit further what you're doing in some of your work. Also, this can be a great section for some of the work that you're doing maybe on your own. So maybe you don't have a ton of work experience or volunteer experience, but you've actually been doing quite a bit of work. You're a self-starter, and you've done some interesting things there. Projects is a wonderful section to showcase that. Alright, so that is just kind of a base overview of your profile. I hope this was helpful. If you have any more thoughts or questions, feel free to reach out to the Career Development Hub. Check out some of our other videos and other resources at umass.edu/careers. Once again, this has been Career Tips, Success in a Virtual World, brought to you by the Career Development Hub.